My daughter tried to decide my future without me, but one quiet detail changed everything. The decision had already been made before anyone thought to ask me. That's the part people don't expect. Not because it's shocking, but because it's familiar. At a certain age, people stop asking what you want. They start assuming what's best for you. My name is Margaret. I'm 68 years old. And 2 weeks after my husband passed, my daughter had already arranged for me to move out of my own home. I didn't hear it from her. I heard it from a moving company. Hi. We're calling to confirm your packing schedule for Thursday. I remember holding the phone a little tighter than usual. I think you have the wrong person, I said. A pause, then gently. This is Margaret Wilson, correct? We're scheduled to assist with your relocation to Silver Pines Living Community. Relocation. Such a soft word for something so final. I didn't agree to that, I said. Another pause. Longer this time. Well, your daughter handled everything. Handled. It's interesting how people use that word when they've taken control of something that wasn't theirs. If you've ever had someone make a life decision for you and call it helping, comment 1. Sometimes it's not help, it's permission they never asked for. I called my daughter, Linda, immediately. She didn't sound surprised. Oh good, they reached you, she said, almost relieved. Call me about what? I asked. Mom, she sighed, in that careful tone children use when they think they're being patient. This is what's best. You shouldn't be alone in that big house. That big house. The same house I had lived in for 42 years. The same house I raised her in. The same house where I had just lost her father. I'm not ready to leave, I said. You don't have to think of it as leaving, she replied quickly. Think of it as transitioning. There it was again. Another word doing too much work. Transitioning. As if my life was a piece of furniture being rearranged. I didn't agree to this, I repeated. You don't need to worry about the details, she said. I've handled everything. Handled. Again. If you've ever noticed how people use calm, professional language to push emotional decisions, comment 1. It's always better, safer, easier. Never honest. I didn't argue. Not right away. Because something felt. Not just emotionally. Logically. Linda had always been organized, yes, but not impulsive. And this felt fast. Too fast. So instead of arguing, I asked a different question. What's happening to the house? A small pause. Just a second. But I heard it. It's already listed, she said. There's a lot of interest. It's a good time to sell. Already listed. Of course it was. Decisions like this don't happen halfway. They happen completely. I'd like to see the paperwork, I said. You don't need to go through all that, she replied. It's just stress. Stress. Another convenient word. I'd still like to see it, I said, calmly. She hesitated again. I'll bring it by later, she said. After we hung up, I walked through the house slowly. Not dramatically. Not tearfully. Just carefully. The kitchen still smelled faintly like coffee. The chair by the window was still slightly turned, the way my husband used to leave it. Everything looked the same, which made it harder to understand how everything had already changed. I sat down at the dining table and tried to think clearly. And that's when I remembered something. A conversation. Months ago, before my husband got sick, we had been sitting right there, at that same table. He had a folder in his hands. Margaret, he said. I want to make sure something is clear. I don't like the sound of that, I told him. He smiled. You don't have to like it. Just listen. He placed the folder in front of me. I've updated the ownership documents for the house. For what reason? I asked. Just in case, he said. I didn't press. At our age, just in case doesn't need explaining. Keep a copy, he added. You might need it. I remember nodding. I remember putting it away. And I remember not thinking about it again. Until now, grief has a way of delaying memory. Not erasing it, just postponing it. I stood up and walked to the hallway cabinet, second drawer, underneath old photo albums. There it was. The folder, exactly where I had left it. I opened it slowly. Inside were the updated documents. Short, clear, braces. And right there, near the bottom, was a clause. Not bold, not dramatic, just specific. The property could not be sold or transferred without the direct, written consent of both owners. Both. And the second name listed alongside mine? It wasn't Linda. It was still my husband. Which meant, after his passing, full ownership transferred to me. Solely. No shared authority. No automatic control. Just me. I read it twice. Then a third time. Not because I didn't understand, but because I needed to feel it settle. Like something steady returning beneath my feet. If you've ever had a moment where everything shifts not because something changed, but because you finally saw it clearly, comment 1. Those are the quiet turning points. When Linda arrived later that afternoon, she was carrying a neat stack of papers. Organized. Prepared. Confident. See? She said, placing them on the table. Everything is already in motion. I didn't touch them. I found something, I said instead. She paused. What do you mean? I slid the folder across the table. She opened it. Read. Then frowned. That's outdated, she said quickly. It's not, I replied. She flipped through the pages again, more slowly this time. That doesn't change anything, she added, but her voice had shifted. It changes everything, I said gently. Silence. The kind that doesn't argue, just recalculates. You should have told me, she said finally. I didn't think I needed to, I replied. The next few days weren't dramatic. No shouting. No slam doors. Just adjustments. The listing was paused. The moving company was cancelled. The plan quietly unraveled. Linda called me again 2 days later. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she said. There it was. That belief again. That things are only difficult when someone refuses to cooperate. I'm not making it harder, I said. I'm making it mine. We sat together the following Sunday. At the same table. Same house. Different understanding. I was just trying to help, she said. I know, I replied. And you don't want to be alone. I'm not alone, I said. I'm just not rushed. She looked at me carefully. For the first time, not as someone to manage, but as someone to understand. What do you want to do? She asked. That question. Simple. Late. But finally real. I took a breath, and for the first time since everything had happened, I answered without pressure. I want time, I said. We didn't sell the house. Not then. Maybe not ever. That decision is still mine to make. And that's the point. Because in the end, this wasn't about property, or paperwork, or even control. It was about voice. The quiet kind. The one people assume fades with age. But doesn't. Not if you protect it. I still keep that folder. In the same drawer. Not because I need to use it, but because it reminds me of something important. No one gets to decide your life just because they speak confidently. Not even the people who love you. Especially not without asking. And if you've ever had to quietly stand your ground when someone tried to take control of your life, comment 1. Because sometimes, the strongest decisions aren't loud. They're simply yours.